how many did I read? 10 books in July. These are the 10 books I read in July. Just kidding, they're not, because most of them were from the library. Alright, let's get into it though. July was a good month. 10 books is a lot, and I feel like I rated them all pretty high. Honestly though, I've been giving out 5 stars like I'm Oprah this year. So when I film like a mid-year, which I probably should have already filmed, and an end of the year about which books were the best, I feel like it's gonna be tough because everybody's getting 5 stars. Let's get into it. Alright, let me go to Goodreads. Let's see here. The first book I read in July is, oh, I actually have this one. This book I got at a library sale. It's called Come Find Me. It's YA. She forgets the plot instantly. No, I actually, when I first picked this up and I read like the plot of it, I thought it was like a sci-fi, no lie. But it's not. It's just kind of like a thriller mystery. Basically, Nolan and Kennedy live in this town, and Nolan's like brother goes missing, and Kennedy lives in this like old shack, and I think like the brother goes missing like near the shack. See, I don't like it. Wasn't like that memorable. That's all I'm saying. But there's like these radio signals, which is why I thought there was like some sci-fi aspect to it. But in the end, it's really just like a mystery thriller. It was good. Wasn't great. I gave 4 stars. I think I'd probably, now that I'm saying it's like not that memorable, I would have given it 3 stars. Oh, but now that I look at my review, I literally wrote, honestly, lacked in plot, but there was like an aspect to where like something could have happened to the dog in the book, but they didn't do the dog dirty, so I gave it an extra star. Aww. But yeah, I think I'd say it was 3 stars, so we'll knock it back down. Then I don't have it with me, but then I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, because everybody's saying that's like the most amazing book, and they are so right. It did not disappoint. I didn't know it was like the 3rd in the series, so I literally just read, just finished it just now, Part of Your World. But Just for the Summer was 5 stars, and I think I read it in like a day. No, I read it in 2 days, but like devoured it. Amazing. The plot, the Reddit that they like both posted on the Reddit thread, I thought that was so unique. Yeah, my review is like, nobody's lying about this book. Absolutely amazing. I loved the characters. I think that now that I'm thinking about it, I think I like Part of Your World better, but probably because I like just read it, but I didn't know that it was like a series. I feel like I'm gonna have like differing opinions once I finish Yours Truly and like know the interconnected stories, because when I read Just for the Summer, the like whole toxic mother aspect of it with Amber, I was like, okay, like you suck and I hate this. Like I like this plot because like I can not that I can relate to it, but like I feel like girls and like the mother relationship of like a girl and their mom I could relate to. And then when Amber came up in Part of Your World, I was like, ew, it's Amber and she's here again. So I kind of wish I had read them in order, but you know, what can you do now? Oh, then I read an arc, Perfect Girl by Tracy Banghart. This book I rated 5 stars. I actually really like it. The plot of it is, since it's an arc, let me tell you when it's coming out also. It's coming out November 19th. It's like a YA thriller. Jessa, she like is like kind of like a perfect girl, never rocks the boat. She invites all of her friends over for like a sleepover when her parents are going to be out, which they never really like allow her to do that. And then you know, kind of like everything goes wrong. Basically there's like a storm, and then, you know, things start to happen, and they're worried about like there's also like a killer on the loose in their town. So my review of it like really kept me on the edge of my seat, and like I felt like I was reading, like it didn't seem very teen, even though it is YA. Like it made me feel like I was reading like adult thriller. Not in like that there were adult aspects to it, but like just like the pacing of it, and like it definitely, like the plot was very like there were no like, it didn't seem like very teeny, you know, like it felt like high stakes. All the characters also had like really good personalities. They were all like very different, whereas like I feel like in a lot of some YA books, like the characters, like they're different but they kind of all seem the same, you know. It comes out November 19th and I highly recommend it. It's called Perfect Girl by Tracy Banghart, and I'm gonna like insert pics and everything here of all the different books. I was on the art team for reading The Breaker of Stars, which is part of the Curse of Ophelia series, but I hadn't actually finished the rest of the series yet, so but I wanted it to do it this way because with fantasy I like to read series in a row. So I read The Shards of Ophelia, which is book 2, and if you don't know the plot of Curse of Ophelia, here, let me read the plot actually so you guys know. So in The Curse of Ophelia, Ophelia basically, like there's like a war, and there's like a curse that's kind of like going around, like they know about in their worlds, and basically she's a mystique warrior, but previously like mystique warriors had been able to do like this undertaking, which like you would basically like jump into a volcano and that's how you would like get your powers, but they stopped doing that because of this curse that's on the mystique warriors. So the undertaking is forbidden, and her lover Malachi had disappeared previously, so she's basically down on herself, like she's not doing well, she's down bad, and then she gets like a curse put on her by an angel, and she kind of has to go on this like basically quest journey with all of her friends to find out the cure for the curse. So that was the first book. I rated that one 4 stars. Then I read The Shards of Ophelia, and this is when the story like really picks up. Without giving any spoilers, Ophelia's character like really develops in the second book. Since in the first book there's like a quest with all the different like the friends characters, like the found family, their characters all really develop in the second book. But yeah, like it's like a lot better in the second book. I feel like there's like a lot more depth to the story. There's a lot more romance, and let's just say there are 2 romantic characters, and I am more team of one character, and he plays a bigger part of the second book. Then I read the third book. Obviously I'm not going to talk about the third book because that's way spoilers, but again, 5 stars. It just keeps getting better. Then the arc that I read was the novella, which is about 2 of the characters that are part of like the found family, and it's like their offshoot, which takes place after the third book, so it's like 3.5. 5 stars again. And I made a video about this, but it starts out, the first line of the book is one demonetized. One bleeping bed. But yeah, really good. Highly recommend that series. It doesn't get a lot of hype on like Book Talk or BookTube, I feel like, but it's really good. Oh, I listened to the Maid, like the Molly the Maid series. I actually have that one here, I think. Yeah. I listened to it on audio. This one's been on my TBR for a while, and I really thought I was gonna like it, but I don't know. It kind of let me down a little. I only gave it 3 stars. I don't know. I just thought that it was like meh. The ending was just like okay. I don't know. I thought it was kind of predictable. I'll probably read the second one just because it is on Libby, so, but no, I'm in no rush to read it. After that, I read The Brothers Hawthorne, which is obviously part of the Inheritance Games series, but this is like the second installment of the series. It was not in Avery's point of view. It was in like the brothers' point of view, so it switched from Jameson to Grayson. There's like 16 brothers, swear to God. But so it was like half the book was in Grayson's point of view and half was in Jameson's, but it wasn't like it was like switched off and off between the chapters, and they both had like 2 different like missions, I guess, that they had to complete felt like way out of sync from the original trilogy. And the like 2 different stories, the pacing was like not matched. So like in the beginning of Grayson's, it was like very interesting, but then it kind of dropped off. Or then the beginning of Jameson's was like not interesting at all, and then it like picked up towards the end. And I'm also like Team Grayson rather than Team Jameson to be with Avery. So that's a spoiler if you haven't read Inheritance Games. But yeah, I think I'll still continue reading the series. There's like a couple other books that are coming out. But not my favorite. I read Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This is a new book that was also on NetGalley that I saw. I read it when it's not on NetGalley, but I had seen it on NetGalley like a couple months ago, and I requested it, but I didn't get it. So then when I saw it in the library, I was like, oh my god, I recognize that cover. Gonna read it. It was basically about a guy that had like made a horror movie with his friends when he was like a teen, and then like he's the only survivor of the movie, and then now they're remaking the movie because like it gained popularity on like the like Reddit, horror Reddits. And so they were like, oh, because of what happened like when you made that movie back when you were a teen and like you're the only survivor, we want to like remake the movie. So it's like the book is written in the like him retelling the story of how they made the movie when he was a teen, but then also like him as a teen like making the movie in the time when he's a teen, and like it's written in like screenplays. So it's really hard to determine when you're reading the book like what's happening in the then and what's happening in the now, but that's like what makes it so good, because you're like did this really happen, or like are you telling me that it happened, or is this happening like right now? It's so good. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat, and then like you literally don't know what happened until like the very last line, and then in the very like it's just so good. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very good. And definitely not like anything I've ever read, but 5 stars. Then I read One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. This one's also been on my list for a while. When I first started reading it, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not in the mood to read a thriller, because it was a slow start. The plot of this book is like Lila and her boyfriend Nico go like they apply to be, well, they don't apply. Nico like wants them to be on this reality show because he wants to like gain notoriety of being on the show. And Lila's like, well, why do I need to be on the show? But the plot of the show is that it's like a perfect couple, kind of like, it's like a Love Island type of show, but you have to go in as a couple. So he's like, we have to go in as a couple, like it's gonna be great for me. And she's like, well, what about me? And she's like a doctor, so like what does she care about being on a reality show? So they go onto this The Perfect Couple, it's called in the book. They go onto the show, and then of course, like as soon as they get to like the like island location, everything starts to go wrong, and like they in the beginning of the book, it's like very slow because they're telling you the plot and everything. And they're introducing all the other couples, and then I like realized though, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot. But then I realized like that's how reality shows are when you're watching them. Like when you first start watching like Love Island, it's like, ugh, the first couple episodes, they all have to introduce themselves. They're like, oh, I'm blah blah blah, and I'm from this place in London, and I do this, and you're like, I don't care, like get to the good stuff. But so that was good. And then it gets like into the thriller aspect of it once like there's like a storm, and then the boat that brought them there like leaves, and it gets really good after that. It's kind of like, what's that book that everybody read in high school? Lord of the Flies. It's like Lord of the Flies in a way. That is. Oh my gosh, that's the last one. The best book out of all of those, tough. I just give out 5 stars so much. You know, I really gotta get better at being more critical with my reviews. Oof. I feel like just for the summer or horror movie, I feel like are the top 2. And I think that's good because they're 2 just so different books, you know? 2 totally different genres. Yeah. You know? one video every 6 months is how you do it on this page. I think I am gonna film like some sort of mid-year, but we'll have to see. I'll have to really go through it. I'm not gonna do this now because that's just gonna become a whole nother video, but I will do a mid-year review and try and narrow down, oh my god, I'm just like, no. I'm gonna try and narrow down the best 5 of the 5 stars. And no, we won't get into the worst. Maybe we'll get into the worst ones. We'll see. But yeah, see you then. I'm saying so much, and I just don't care because you guys know I only put out a video like every 6 months.